now time for The Viewing Room with Adam and Ethan.
Welcome to The Viewing Room, where we talk about films new and old, local and global. Today, we're live streaming, once again. And this time, it wasn't due to a lack of planning. What is this?
I haven't done this on the live yet. This is a historic moment.
Go ahead. You like this song? Don't get copyrighted.
Yeah, we won't get copyrighted.
His phone quality was not good enough to translate that song. We're talking about The Matrix today. And we're doing it live. And like I said, it's not because of a lack of planning, which all the other ones we can say confidently were. We decided this because we didn't want to record at night. So,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time we're like, well, I work until 9 and I work until 11, and like if we just decided we were going to start recording at midnight every time, we'd be great. There would be nobody in the studio and we'd always be available. Well, not always. Most of the time we'd be available.
Let me pull back the curtain. Literally. I don't know. Actually, I said this is a metaphor. No, it's not.
It's both, because you literally pulled back the curtain and you're about to give us a curtain pullback metaphor.
But literally means like written down.
No, it doesn't. It just means it happened in actuality. No, in that context, literally just means like it happened. It actually happened.
But the original, like the term literally comes from.
Yes, but that's not what it means anymore.
Literally.
Not in that context.
Well.
Anyway, pull back the curtain.
Okay. I'm pulling it back strong here. I like my 8 hours.
I do too.
I like my 8 hours. I'm a huge believer in the power of a good night's restful sleep. And you know, when it comes down to it, I have a lot of early mornings, and I naturally kind of wake up around 7:30. So to me, I need to go to bed at like 11.
I woke up at 7:45 this morning to drag myself here. Sure. I reset my alarm 6 times.
Yeah, that's funny. I can't. What I purposely do is, again, I'll pull back the curtain some more. I have my alarm clock on the other side of my room, and it is a loud motherfucker, dude. Like, it goes, like,
and wakes up everybody else in the house.
Dude, everyone is awake. But I'm a dead sleeper, right? So, like, if I need to get up at 5 a.m., I need an air raid siren to be going off. Like, it is insane. You know, funny story. A tree fell on our cabin once in the middle of the night in a terrible, terrible storm. My whole family was awake, hiding pretty much, just like, oh, what's going to happen? I slept through the entire thing.
Yep.
I, like, no joke, slept through the whole thing. A tree fell on our cabin, hit the side of our cabin, then landed on the deck, cracked the deck. We needed to do, like, a ton of repairs. Me. Like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Dead to the world. So I need my 8 hours. I like my 8 hours. I think it's great. It helps you stay positive. It helps you stay energized. I'm not like a huge coffee guy, so like I like being awake and active and like just like the brain being active early, right? So yeah, I get up at 7 and I go to bed at 11, and I set a ton of alarms on my phone. Like it's disgusting how many alarms are set, but then like the alarms on my phone are one thing, but with my alarm clock on the other side of the room, like I have to get out and turn it off, because actually the fear of waking my dad up is just instilled in me that like something deep within me makes me like run over to my alarm clock. Like, Father can't know I'm awake. Okay, let's talk about the actual Matrix, the movie that we're going to be.
I mean, maybe we are talking about The Matrix in that conversation.
Perhaps. Which is going to lead me into my first point.
Oh, God.
This is a movie, whether you love it or you hate it, that is of high cultural relevance. And not
Agreed.
because I'm like, oh, man, we're living in the Matrix. But we're using that term. Think of how often you hear that term nowadays from people who've never even seen the movie. We're like, social media influencers are in this weird age of content where people are like, quit your 9 to 5, escape the matrix, start drop shipping, buy NFTs. Right?
The other ones you see is like when people like put news reporters, when they put like a bunch of those video clips of like reporters all saying the exact same thing from like across the country, like random stations across the country, stuff like that, and they're like, oh, it's the Matrix.
Right. So it's a term that is used and befuddled by many people, I'd say, because what is a term of science fiction has become enrooted in people and almost become a lifestyle where people are making content, making livings off of it, being like, yeah, do my online alpha male course to escape the matrix and become a gazillionaire. And it's like, okay, there's that. And then there's conspiracy theorist people who are unironically using escape the matrix because...
I think we should bring a conspiracy theory expert on the show.
No.
Mr. Gary Nickel.
He was on last week.
It's all real.
And
It's documentary.
and yeah, it's used unironically now as like not just a staple of pop culture, but kind of enrooted in people's lives in a way where they've become almost addicted to this idea that their life isn't real, which is not healthy at all. Not a healthy way to look at anything, but it's there. And it's like, I don't know about the psychology of that, but it is pretty interesting because...
Okay, well, I think the thing is, like, even if it's, like, for me, it just makes me stop and think about it. Like, oh, like, that's interesting. Or certain, when you see certain things, you're like, I wonder. Like, it just certain, like, it just makes you stop and think about it. Like, oh, like, some of this isn't out as far to lunch as we might think. And actually, there's a really good Neil deGrasse Tyson interview where somebody asked him, like, are we living in a simulation? And I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember his exact response. But it was basically along the lines of, okay, if we are living in a simulation, we are either...
Scaring me.
What? No, hold on. we are either the top level of it, or we are the most recent one. And so basically what I'm saying is, so let's say we're living in a simulation and we develop our technology. They allow us to develop our technology to a point where we can now create similar simulations. And then that will happen. And it's just a domino effect, right? It's just going to keep going. But we don't have that level of technology yet. So either we're the bottom of the chain in that we are living in a simulation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we haven't figured out that technology
simulations,
yet. Or we're at the top level and we're going to be the first ones to create the simulation.
Yeah. But
it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a little different than maybe the terms like escape the matrix.
No, but to me it's like that's when I'm watching the Matrix, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, we're batteries for some advanced AI. I'm like, I mean, it's
there's people who think that, and ironically, I better vote for this person because they're gonna help me escape the matrix. Like what?
Yeah,
what?
But like I said, to me, it's more about like just the possibility that like this isn't, you know what I mean? Like
sure.
I find it entirely believable that like we could be like living not necessarily in a simulation, but like our reality is like a video game for someone else. You know what I mean?
So this is just going to my point of the term matrix or simulation being used in real life. This is arguably a large pioneer in that kind of science fiction and realm where people have started to look past the 10% of your brain capacity.
I wouldn't even say it
and develop ideas. Right?
I wouldn't say it like really started it. Because I think there's always been people with some ideas like that, and it's been in science fiction writings for a long time. But I think it brought it to the masses.
Proponent.
Well,
yes.
I think it's just kind of brought the idea to the masses. It's more like before it was kind of like more fringe science fiction writings, and now it's like
it's visualized.
Yeah, it's visualized, and just like all of a sudden people like were like, oh, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Yet if my life was a simulation, I like my life.
Okay, Cypher.
I have a good life. I have a good family.
So now we know that you'd be Cypher in the movie.
I wake up. I wake up, I'm happy. I go to bed, I'm less happy. And, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to like go to sleep listening to like bombs going off by my room, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I have access to food and water. Like, I'm grateful for that shit. So like, I don't spend much of time thinking like, oh, what if this wasn't real? Because I'd rather spend my time appreciating what I do have than wondering of all the things I don't.
Yep.
Right? And that's kind of how I live my life. But yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a large proponent and kind of again, the word pioneer is interesting, but like just like a large factor of starting those conversations, I'd say,
Yeah.
and yeah, this movie can be credited with that kind of idea of the Matrix being the Matrix.
Yeah. I gotta also say, shout out to Coliseum for presenting this movie. Neither of us were able to make it there, but we're still reviewing it because it's a great movie. And yeah, is it on our poster?
It probably is. Yeah, you
I'll have to
can.
check
You
it.
should go grab it.
I'm gonna go grab it and check because we
Yep.
also forgot to do Indiana Jones from last week.
Yeah, my keys are on there if you want to grab it to scratch. Yeah, let us know in the comments below if you believe in the Matrix and your life is a simulation, and and what would you do to change it? I'd sooner rather believe in the idea of a multiverse than a simulation.
To me, simulation is more believable than multiverse, but that's just personal. Okay, we'll scratch this at the end. We'll scratch Indiana Jones as well. We forgot to do that last
And the
week.
Matrix is on there as well.
It is, yes.
Cool. I hope it's ones and zeros.
It probably will be, or it'll be a face with the. It'll be like
Or a
Morpheus
pill.
or a pill. Oh, I bet should be the pill.
Okay. The Matrix released March 31st, 1999. This is actually the same day 10 Things I Hate About You came out with Heath Ledger. So there you go. With a budget of 63 million US dollars, it grossed 467 million dollars at the global box office. For a movie that came out in 99, that's pretty good. I mean, there wasn't 1,000 heavy hitters, but like that's still a really good return.
Good return.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I should say the franchise total so far, The Matrix, is about $1.7 billion.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The Matrix has gone a little bit downhill. The first is definitely the best, but
Yeah, the lowest grossing film was 2021. Just a fun little fact for you there. Okay, so we got cast. We have Keanu Reeves, Carrie Ann Moss, Lawrence Fishburne.
oh, what's his face who plays Elrond? I can't see him as anything except Elrond. He plays Agent Smith.
Oh, Agent Smith.
What's his name? Oh, frick.
Yeah, he's old. Have you seen photos of him, dude?
Yeah, he's aged
Bro,
a lot.
he did not age. Not that he didn't age well, because I imagine he's probably like 80, but brother. Maybe 80 is a little mean, but how old do you think he is? I was going to write down his name, but I was like,
Hugo
"Ah,
Weaving. That's it.
Yeah, dude, he's got a big beard. He's got a big
Yeah,
Santa beard now.
like it's crazy how much he's. So how old do you think he is?
72.
65.
Oh shit, he did
Yeah.
not. He did not.
He did not age well.
That's what Hollywood does to you, man. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: his eyes remind me of Jack Nicholson's eyes. It's kind of like the funny
Yes.
thing is, I honestly could have seen
Yes.
Jack Nicholson playing like
He could
the
have for
agents
sure.
and stuff.
Yeah.
but-
No, I like I said, I can't see him as anything except Elrond, but I really think he nails this role. Like
He
the
does
way
do a
he,
good job.
Mr. Anderson, like just the way he speaks
Mr.
and the
Anderson. Yes.
the way he like does the monologues with like no emotion and yet still so much like
Yeah.
intensity. It's really really well done.
I'm gonna bring up a point.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a great actor. I love him in John Wick. I think he's a cool dude. Awesome Canadian guy. He's a fantastic dude. I don't necessarily think he's the right role for this. He's kind of I was gonna use the term firm, but like sometimes he's pretty static, you know what I mean? You know, like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and it's like it's not like the traditional like who you would expect to be like the savior of the world and like who the prophecy said was gonna free everyone from the Matrix. He's kind of stuck in place a bit. Now I love him, and I think he does a good job. But do you think, in your mind, there might have been a better cast for Neo?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say is who would you get to cast if you were doing it? Because I'm trying to think of who I would cast. It's just so hard to again see anybody except Keanu Reeves doing it.
Right, it's tough because it's dark and But you know what I mean? I don't feel like a lot of that fear that's supposed to happen of someone being ripped. Brother, if I woke up right now in an alien tube with tubes in me, realizing my whole life was a lie, I'd maybe freak out a bit more. Keanu Reeves is like,
I bet you young Russell Crowe.
no, I like that. I like that pick. I like that pick too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, can we even go modern? Even like a,
Yeah,
a Matrix
modern
reboot.
Matrix.
Ryan Gosling. A modern. See, Robert Downey Jr. popped into my mind, but I don't.
Yeah, he could do it.
I feel like young Robert Downey Jr. at the time could have done it too. And he would have done it better,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I feel like
He was addicted to drugs at that point,
Well,
though,
no,
so
not
that probably
even
wasn't
that,
a great time in his life. So
what was I mean his acting, and I guess really it's because we've only really seen him do Iron Man and whatnot, but even in some of his other little roles.
in his early days,
No, not in his early days. Like I'm talking lately.
Tropic Thunder. That's
Yeah,
early. That's
that's
early
true.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. I don't, let us know below what you think the proper casting
I suppose
should
we
be.
could check the
yeah.
live chat and see if somebody's throwing something in there.
But it's just like, oh yeah, Dan in the chat.
Hmm?
Dan's in the chat. Yeah.
Who's in the chat?
Dan.
Oh, Brando.
And Brando as well.
Brando does stuff. Boys, there's no helping people who think The Matrix was a documentary.
There's no.
'Cause-
That's what Gary said.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Brando texted me. Hugo Weaving, you fuck. Yes, Hugo Weaving. I'm sorry. Elrond. I can't stop thinking of him as Elrond. He's Elrond.
Okay. Who else would be our dream cast? Not dream cast. Who else could do it just a bit better? Because again,
I could see James Earl Jones playing Morpheus too. Yeah, in his younger days, obviously.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Lawrence Fishburne is like the perfect Morpheus.
Yeah, but James Earl Jones could do it too.
Yeah, he could, but I mean, Lawrence Fishburne.
I
does such a
100%
great
agree.
job.
He does it.
See, that's what I mean. Even he is a little static and stuff like that, but it's like it makes sense as like the weird, almost fortune teller
Well,
guy. Like you're supposed to protect
But
us.
also,
Morpheus,
I
or
also
Neo or
I
whatever.
do also think like when you think about it as well, these people are they're living a life that they've never like. They're basically being born into a world when they're like in their 20s, 30s. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be pretty weird to all of a sudden like have your entire life shattered. So I think that of course they're all going to be a little bit odd.
I don't mean odd. I mean distraught, devastated, panicked, confused.
But my
Oddly
point-
horny,
but my po-
like,
But my point is like is that how they would react?
yeah. Okay, you wake up right now covered in tubes and an alien is sucking the life out of your little soul and you're no longer ginger. And
I'm not ginger.
are you ginger? I thought your hair was ginger.
It was when I was little.
Yeah,
Not
you look
anymore.
like a ginger though. Like a leprechaun.
I'm not Irish.
Yes, you are. And basically you're supposed to go along with it. Jesus, the worst improv partner ever. You know the one rule of improv is yes and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what?
And this is you. No.
you want to
no,
know
but-
you want to know what class I failed in arts?
I
Improv.
thought you were gonna say pottery, but but improv was the second one.
Yes, and it was the third one I failed.
Yeah. There you go. You're learning. You're learning. Okay. Whatever. If you woke up in an alien tube, your whole life was gone. Mom and dad don't actually even exist. Your life is shattered. You don't even have a job. The Matrix doesn't sound too bad. No.
Okay, Cypher. I'll keep saying it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would be like, whoa.
Oh, but my point is, would you? I feel like
Yes!
I
Yes,
know.
of course!
I don't know.
If your whole life fell away behind your eyes, and you realized you were being suckled by robotic aliens in your mom's basement because you're a human battery. What are you talking
Well,
about?
okay, but
Of
would you-
course, it
or
would
would
be
you
the
just-
worst day of your life.
Yes, it would be, but or would you just fall into a deep depression?
That's something. That is something.
Because this isn't the same day. This is, weeks ahead, weeks after, or days or weeks ahead.
I'm just saying, there would be some reaction.
Yeah.
And I think, as much as I love Keanu Reeves, he doesn't sell that reaction to me as someone who just woke up in what was actually real life when their whole life before was not real at all. It doesn't sell it for me. Again, I
Okay.
love Keanu Reeves. I think this is a good movie. That doesn't sell it to me.
Okay.
You would freak the fuck out, dude. Are you kidding me?
Not now.
I mean, maybe I'm just like a pansy, but like I would freak out, dude.
yeah, take it like a man.
yeah. Oh, I don't know, man.
Okay, we
think-
should read a synopsis. We still haven't done that.
Yeah. And it was directed by the Wachowskis,
Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Lana and Lily. Did you forget to do?
I forgot to change the ticker.
Why? What does it say?
Indiana Jones.
Oh well. Do you want me to read a synopsis while you do that? Can you
Nope,
change it live?
I can change it, but I have to go over there. I'll do that while you.
Yeah. All right. I'll read a synopsis while Adam changes our ticker. This is what happens when we do live shows. At least he didn't order a pizza this time. I can think of many problems. Okay. The Matrix film synopsis. Neo believes that Morpheus, an elusive figure considered to be the most dangerous man alive, can answer his question. What is the Matrix? Neo is contacted by Trinity, a beautiful stranger, that's a little weird, who leads him into an underworld where he fights Morpheus. They fight a brutal battle for their lives against a cadre of viciously intelligent secret agents. It is a truth that could cost Neo something more precious than his life.
Did you just say that's weird when they said Carrie Ann Moss was attractive?
Oh, it's just a weird.
I mean, I'll be honest. That opening scene where she's in full leather and or whatever.
Okay. I just think it's a
Just
little weird to
saying.
put in your synopsis, beautiful stranger.
Well, she is.
Yeah. It is a little weird, though.
No, it's not.
It's a kind of bit weird.
Why?
It's kind of a bit weird. I think it's just weird.
No, it's not. That's in all kinds of movies.
Why does it matter if she's beautiful or like one-eyed like Willie? Not that he isn't
Well,
beautiful.
because if she's beautiful, then there's sexual tension.
See, again, that's what I mean. Instead of being like, oh, why my life is over, they're like black leather, sunglasses, and what? Dude, that's what I mean. It doesn't sell it for me. And I love this movie. I think this movie's great, but I just had to point that out. I just had to. Sorry for the crude hand gestures. It's just. You know what I mean? Sometimes
I really don't know what you mean.
Sometimes it's like, you know what I mean?
I'm happy with it.
Okay, sure. Can I bring up something quickly?
I don't know.
On the
can you?
network that we're streaming this on, Dufferin Avenue Media Network, we did just hit 30,000 subscribers. So, congratulations to the team on that
Yep.
milestone. Thank you to the subbots that subscribed.
There's no subbots, you know that, right?
Sure.
Because if there was, I'd be the one doing it. And I'm not. So
10 million subscribers.
$10 million. What? There's one of the Batman movies where young Bruce Wayne, he's at an auction. I've seen
That's
the
a
YouTube
TV
clips.
show.
It's a
Yeah,
okay.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, bids the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess let's start off with the movie here.
Mm-hmm.
And what time are we at right now? Let's get out.
9:54. We're
Cool.
almost half an hour in, and we haven't really talked about the
Yeah, yeah. Let's actually talk about the movie. So yeah, we start off. We see Trinity. She's running away from these agents and stuff like that, and they're attacking her. They're chasing her. She did all of the wire stunts herself, Carrie Ann Moss, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
They come after her. She escapes into the Matrix, and then it kind of like starts the movie basically.
She
with-
escapes out of the Matrix.
She escapes out of the Matrix. Yeah. Whoa. What if the real life was also the Matrix, and then that's what the next sequels are? Is
Well,
the Matrix.
I always
Matrix.
just thought it would be like, especially after if you watch just the first movie, you're like, whoa, what if it's backwards? What if the Matrix or the real world in the movie is the Matrix?
And they trap free thinkers in there because they're a threat to journalism and media.
Exactly.
Now you're thinking like a Republican.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. I just rolled off the tongue.
You are in rare form today, and I love it. I love it.
We're going to escape the Matrix. It's going to be a great day. One of the best.
Got my best people. I hired a 17-year-old guy who dropped out of high school to work landscaping.
Oh, we got
He's
our
gonna
best
get us
guys
out.
on this. He's going to escape the Matrix. Yeah. but whatever. I'm sorry. That was off color.
Okay.
So, anyways, Trinity escapes. She goes bye-bye. We kind of see Neo. He's like a hacker, programmer dude. And he's kind of like sketchy. He's like, what is he? Is he selling drugs? What is he doing?
It's
Does he
not
give
drugs.
Software?
I think
Some
it's
shit?
pirated like software
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, he's like part of these hacker groups and stuff like that. And he's really good at hacking and doing all that stuff. But he also has a day job at like a software company doing tech and stuff.
Mhm.
And he's late to work, and his boss is like, "Hey, man, like you're gonna be fired if you don't start showing up because work is more important than whatever else you're doing in life." And Neo's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Here's the thing. Hypothetically, the Matrix is using these humans as batteries, right? So wouldn't you say that in order to use a battery to the longest extent, you want it as least worked as possible, technically? Like not
I see what you
overworked?
mean. Yep.
So why would you make your batteries work 9 to 5?
But wouldn't they?
Well, I
like-
don't know. Put them all in Hawaii.
Right, but wouldn't the more active you are, wouldn't the more electrical signal you output? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the more
Yes.
active your brain is, the more electrical signals it's outputting, and that's what they're taking, right? So,
True, but I don't think an office job in a cubicle necessarily provokes a correct amount of firing of synapses in terms of like hunting a wild boar. You know what I mean? Like I think there's
True.
a difference. Like
True.
there's a different
True.
level of stimulation where it's like mind and body and not soul crushing like
Mhm,
time to open Microsoft Excel for the 90th time today
mhm.
and input these numbers.
I know what you mean, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably such a negligible difference.
I'm not a scientist.
No, me either.
I'm not a matrixologist. So, yeah. That works.
Metrologist.
So, anyways, these dudes come after Neo, and they're like agents, and they're gonna come and kidnap him. And so Neo runs away because Morpheus is in his ear. All of a sudden, he's like, "You gotta listen to me if you want to escape." And so Neo kind of does that, and then they lose contact, and Neo's captured by these agents, and they kind of interrogate him. And they're like, you can work for us and be cool government people, whatever. And Neo's like, no, this is not gonna happen.
Mhm.
And then they like put a little pill bug in his stomach, and it crawls in, and it's really disgusting.
You forgot about
Uh,
the scene where they're like, "What if you can't speak?" And
Yeah.
then his mouth turns over.
Yeah, they close his mouth, and he's like,
and
and
then they put the thing in.
do you like my impression of a guy like who
Mhm.
can't scream because his mouth's closed?
Mhm,
It's pretty good.
mhm.
Anyways, they take him. Neo wakes up. He's like, "Whoa, thank God that was all a dream." And then Morpheus contacts him again, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like, come meet me." And then Neo still thinks it was all a dream, even though the guy who was in his dream came and contacted him the next day. And this guy's a genius programmer, dude, and the dots just weren't connected there for some reason.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
like,
right.
"This is completely a coincidence."
Yeah.
And anyways, they go and they meet Morpheus, but they take the pill bug out of his stomach and they like suck it out in a vacuum and toss it away. And he meets Morpheus. They give him the choice, basically: red pill, blue pill,
Red pill, blue
green pill, blue fish, red fish. 1, 2,
But
3.
you eat the red pill. You see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, probably the most famous scene. And
I like
pop
the
culture
Alice
history,
in
one of them.
Wonderland metaphor
Yeah, the white rabbit.
I don't know
tattoo
what
and stuff, yeah.
literary device that is.
Literally.
No, I literally don't know what literary device that is.
Metaphor?
I think it's metaphor, but I don't know
It'd be
because I didn't really
metaphor?
pay attention in English.
It'd be a metaphor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
metaphor for what he's doing. Yeah.
Or is it a simile?
I don't think. I think you need to go back to grade 11. I think this is rough. Not even grade 11, like grade 4.
Metaphors, similes,
Onomatopoeia.
onomatopoeia,
Oh yeah, or whatever.
Hyperbole.
Yeah.
What else is there? Whatever.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Hey, I know all about the history stuff.
Yeah. So
Serbia and Austria. Austro-Hungary, actually.
Yeah. The Balkan states,
The
I know.
Balkan states.
We know all about the history.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to the history of the Matrix.
That's because I had Keeler for a history teacher, and I really like Keeler.
I like Keeler too.
'Cause we sat in the same seat in that class, didn't we? Like, because you had it before me, right?
Yeah, and also in photography.
That too.
We were kind of connected way before we even knew
Yeah.
each other. We sat in the same seats in the same class. We knew where the best spot to sit in the room was.
Yeah.
And sat there before we even knew each other. Kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. We were meant to be lovers. I wonder how Brooklyn's gonna like that one.
I hope she's not watching.
So, anyways, Neo goes into the Matrix.
Out of the Matrix.
And out of the Matrix quite a few times.
Yeah.
He wakes up in his pillbug state or whatever, basically being suckled by tubes, and they're draining the batteries. He sees all of humanity and civilization's been put in there since birth or whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're basically powering the machines because in the war against man and machine, they basically realized that all the machines were taking power from the sun. So the humans destroyed the sun and blocked out the sun, so that basically
Scorched the sky.
basically the robots couldn't get any power, but that didn't work at all for reasons unexplained. And basically now all of humanity is enslaved aside from a couple cities and random little underground tunnels and towns and stuff. They don't really explain a lot how they get food down there, hey?
No, but that's explained more in the later Matrix ones when they're actually in the cities.
Yeah, and they make it out to be there's not lots of humanity left, but there is quite a bit of people left, especially I think it's the third one.
Yeah.
Resurrection or whatever.
No, isn't that 4?
That's the number 4.
Yeah.
Reloaded and Revelation? Is that
Or
what
no,
it
no,
is?
Reloaded is 4. Resurrections is, I don't remember the order. Anyway, I think there's 4 movies. But I also find it plausible that they would be freeing more people.
Well,
in the interim.
he does, but there is a large community of people
yeah.
who were already
Yes.
But
also though, not just people who are freed, but then also like Tank and Dozer, they never were in the Matrix originally. They were naturally born outside the Matrix. So that also helps too.
So I'm trying to figure out how to expedite this. Basically, Neo goes into the Matrix. He's in and out. He starts learning how to fight and do kung fu and crazy stuff. He goes sees an oracle, and the oracle's oracle's like, "Hey, you have the skills of the guy who's going to be the savior of us, but you're not him. You're not him, buddy. Maybe if you were reborn, you'd be him, but you're just not him." And a little bit of exposition there, or like a tiny little what would we call it? It's a little sneak peek, I guess. Why can't I think of the word?
I don't know what you're going for here.
Anyways, she says listen, maybe if you were reborn or in another life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be a little hint towards what happens.
I see what you mean, like foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. That's another term. Yeah. Anyways, God, I'm off today, man. So, anyways, he goes there. They get attacked by more of these agents and stuff like that. We realize one of the crew inside of the ship, of Morpheus's ship, is basically turned and made a deal with the agents to go back, and Cypher is his name, yeah. And he wants to go live a better life in the Matrix, and in exchange, he'll get them Morpheus and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he does this. Morpheus is captured, but before Neo can be killed, basically they escape and get back onto the ship, and then he goes into the Matrix to go save Neo. Trinity's like, "Nah, man, this is a death mission." He's like, "I don't care. I'm Keanu Reeves, and basically he goes back
I'm
into the
Batman.
Matrix, and he's a badass, and he does.
He could literally be Batman in the Matrix.
He is the Matrix
Superman.
Batman. Yeah, he's the Matrix Batman.
Doesn't have the money though. He'd be Superman.
It's the
But
Matrix.
Superman-
You don't need money. You know what I mean?
Well,
they can bend it
that's
at
true.
your will.
That's very true.
Much like you can bend anything to your will with enough money.
Very true. What's your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah. So basically, they go into the Matrix to save Morpheus. They save Morpheus, but while that's happening, all these pill bugs, I'm going to call them pill bugs, they're sentinels. It's robotic bugs, basically, are attacking the ship. They get Morpheus. They escape. Blah, 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 blah. Agent Smith attacks them as they escape, and everyone escapes but Neo. So Neo fights the agent. Basically, he starts running away because this is super scary. Then he gets killed, and Trinity's like, no, you can't be dead, because apparently the one I love is supposed to be the one who saves the world and stuff like that, and I love you, basically. It's a little premature. All they did was meet, kick some ass together, and now they're in love. It's the black leather. It's probably the black leather. There's so much of it that it's just... with enough sunglasses, with enough Ray-Bans and black leather, you can make anyone fall in love. And essentially, she like kisses him, and like that kiss revives Neo or whatever.
True love's first kiss.
Yeah, exactly. And Neo becomes back, and then this fulfills the prophecy of the Oracle, which means like, hey, this is a new life for Neo, and now he understands the Matrix, because something about dying and waking up gives you clarity, doesn't it? But here's the thing: if we're going with that logic, then anyone who theoretically died in the Matrix and was resuscitated would technically see the Matrix, no?
Because
all he did
'cause
was
when-
his
'cause-
heart restarted, and that heart restart gave him the ability to see the Matrix and stuff, because he was.
But
in a
was that
new
just
life.
because it was him, or was it? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying, because here's the thing. Here's the problem. They see he's the one, because there's a prophecy of someone who was in the Matrix who's gonna escape and do this and that and that, and the Oracle says so, because they say so. But they don't show any actual, aside that he's good at programming, they don't show any actual indication as to why is this guy the actual person. He's just the one. He's the one. Trust us, he's the one.
no.
But, okay, an ancient oracle said it, and that's cool.
Right, but the thing we learned later on is that the Oracle is actually part of the Matrix. She's basically similar to the agents, right? And so she's
Mhm.
basically the Matrix way of kind of controlling
She's
the
the
narrative.
WikiHow
Well,
of the Matrix.
Yeah, but she's controlling the narrative, sort of, or one of the ways that the Matrix controls the narrative. And so, to me, it kind of makes sense that the Matrix would do that if it was, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean the difference between like a normal person who's lived their whole life in the Matrix, dying and then coming back, versus Neo is that Neo's been outside of the Matrix.
Right. But so is everyone else.
No.
Well, sorry, a lot of them have.
Well, not like normal people, but even your other people, they don't get revived. So that's really the only part that's different, is that he gets revived.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Maybe if the
but
others
they go
got
through the
revived-
logic too that it's like if you die in the Matrix, you die outside of the Matrix too. But like, why weren't they able to bring anyone else back?
You know what I mean?
Well, everyone else died. They weren't able to bring
Well,
them back.
Yeah, that one I can't explain. That's
It's
why
just
he's the
like-
one.
Yeah. He's the 101010001. That's good. That's good. Come on. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
You give me no credit, and that was actually like a really good joke.
Oh, funny.
That was good. I see you're not showing it, but you know right now, like that made
funny.
you a little excited.
Oh,
You're like,
that's
oh,
funny. That was funny.
this guy gets it.
I'll say though, I really like the Oracle, because like when you hear, oh, we're going to see the Oracle, you expect it to be like in a dingy cave somewhere, and
It's
like
a beholder or something.
yeah, something like that. No, it's just an old lady baking cookies in her kitchen and smoking a cigarette. It's just there's something about it. It's just so unexpected, and yet it fits so well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Neo's revived. He can see the Matrix. He defeats the agents, and now he knows the secrets to everything, basically. And he flies off into the sunset, being like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming for you because I'm Batman." And yeah, that's the end of the movie, and it kind of sets up the next ones pretty well. This is a good one where, like, sometimes you see a movie and you're like, "This deserved a sequel. This one deserved a sequel.
I think it did. Yeah.
It deserved to be like a little trilogy." Did it deserve the 2021 spinoff? No, actually, it's not even a spinoff. It's like another sequel. So
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
just in the story still.
not too sure about that one.
I don't know. It suffered the problem that every franchise suffers.
More money.
More money, and it just gets too
Convoluted.
and just too big and grand, and you know, they try and do
Sure.
too many things. It's like, honestly, like, you can't beat a movie that was made because it was a good script, a good original script with a low budget.
Sure.
Or, well, not low, but like low.
60 million.
60 million is a decent budget, but it's not a $300 million movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Sure.
because for a movie like that to get a budget for an original movie, it has to be a good movie, or it has to have
Mhm.
potential.
Sure.
But it doesn't take that much to get a franchise. You don't have to go with you don't have to go and say, "Here, I have this idea for a sequel."
Mhm.
They say, "We want you to do a sequel so we can make more money again." Right? And so it's not made because they have a story. It's made because they want more money. Generally, not always, of course. But
Mhm.
and I think that's just what happened. I mean, they did the best they could the next, couple, but I think it just generally goes downhill.
Sure. Yeah. No, and I agree. I think this is probably the highest grossing one, honestly.
I'm pretty sure it is, and it's the best one in my opinion. I mean, you can't beat the Matrix. I mean,
This is what sci-fi should be.
yeah,
It's
like
it's a real solid sci-fi. It's thought-provoking. It's obviously realistic enough that people want to talk about it and bring it into examples of their own day-to-day life,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it's a thought-provoking sci-fi with kind of themes of like choice or the illusion of choice, things like that.
a
And
bit steampunk or cyberpunk in a way too.
and I think about that too sometimes when I watch it. But that's anything with Keanu Reeves, honestly. I just think of cyberpunk immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but like it's just, I don't know. It's just
Yeah, no, it is super interesting. And honestly, like it does a good job of being that kind of thought inducing kind of thing. And more movies should be like that. You should take something away from it. And I think this movie helps you take some stuff away, right?
Mhm.
You mentioned the screenplay. The studio called it "The Script Nobody Understands," is what the title was. Like, to them.
Hmm.
I read that on IMDb. They called it "The Script Nobody Understands," and
Interesting.
Lawrence Fishburne called it "Smart." So those were the difference
Yeah.
between those. I said Carrie Ann Moss did her own wire stunts herself, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. By 2002, okay, so this is 3 years after the movie came out, there was over 20 different films and TV shows that had parodied the Bullets time sequence,
I believe
where
it.
where Neo like
I mean,
bends
that's
over and
that's
does
even
that.
in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like, that is so iconic.
So yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 14 drafts of the screenplay, which isn't crazy because lots of movies like the script undergoes like things, but I just wanted to point that out. It's a good topic of conversation even. Lots of scripts and people don't notice like you don't write a script and it's ready to go. Like you have to go through and then as you find the money and stuff, you have to change certain things. And once you realize, oh, we can do this, can't do that, you have to keep rewriting it and tuning it. And then you have to make shooting scripts and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows in terms of writing, right?
I remember we were doing set protocol training with Kenny Chaplin,
Yes.
and he was showing us the scripts, and it's like, oh, the blue draft, the blue version, the green version, just like in how many different colors of scripts and everything they have, and I'm like,
Yeah, good old Kenny. Lawrence Fishburne said Morpheus to him is like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader combined. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And he also said he was scared when he first saw Morpheus on screen. He was a little startled. He was like, whoa. So, you go. That's kind of all I have for facts. In terms of like and dislike, I like how the Oracle's prophecy comes true, because at first you kind of like you almost hate her in a way. Like she's a cool character, but then she tells Neo that he's not the one, and that's kind of frustrating as a viewer because, w- again, we keep following this story of oh he's the one, he's supposed to be the one, and we don't necessarily know exactly why he's 100% the one, other than he's good at programming and some other stuff. So we're like okay. And then they tell us he's not the one, and we're like, oh, that's kind of shitty too, because you just kind of threw it in our face that he was supposed to be the one, because everyone else and like his mentors are calling him the one. So it's a little bit better when you know what I mean, when they finally kind of show us that he's the one.
Yeah.
And it's good that the prophecy comes true in his new life, right? It's powerful. It's thought provoking. There's too much black leather.
No, there's not. Not when
uh,
Carrie Ann Moss is involved. You can't have enough black leather.
Jeez.
I,
I mean, that's kind of what I have. I think The Matrix is really great, and I think there's not many movies that their sole premise has become rooted in people's almost identities in a way, because there's a lot
Right.
of people who every conversation you have with them is just like, oh yeah, because the world is the Matrix, and that's why I did this.
Right,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, whoa, okay. And I think it's an important thing to kind of think about as we go into a not new age, but like you know, as we start going into an era of AI and certain digital media, right? Where
Yeah.
you see like whole newscasts that are made with AI, and it's just like all of a sudden the reporter says, "Oh, like yeah, well, I'm fake by the
Deepfakes,
way.
too.
I'm not real." And it's like, oh, that's very interesting, right? Because obviously not everyone can discern the ability between like AI and stuff, right? So it's a thought provoking thing when you kind of compare like, oh,
I think
These
it also
works.
serves as a warning, right?
sure.
Like, be careful what you do.
hmm
Like, be careful with what access you give and everything like that. Like, be careful.
Sure. And I think here's the thing, especially for people who take everything they see and just believe it, which is a very dangerous thing to do. But it's super easy to when it's thrown in your face, right? But you shouldn't. You should not do that by any means, right? But a lot of people do. They should, in my opinion, it should be like legally required that if you make an AI video or even just use a bit of AI extra help, like in The Brutalist, you know how they used AI to like
Alter his
fine tune
voice.
the yeah. It should be mandatory to say that in the credits or something in the description that says AI was used to make or had a part in making this, whether big or small. It should be legally required because I think that's super important, especially like older people or as AI gets better and better. It's not going to be older people who can't figure it out. It's going to be every single person. And
Yeah.
this isn't tinfoil hat conspiracy theory.
It's fact.
It's just the nature
I
of
mean,
it, right?
the improvement we've seen in deepfakes
Sure,
in the last 2 years is
Sure.
astronomical.
and
Like-
I don't think it's going to be as terrible world ending as people make it out to be, but it is significant, right? And so I think it's important that there should be some kind of legal requirement that if you make an
Mhm.
AI video, you have to specify it's AI.
It's hard to enforce that, obviously, especially with platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the social media stuff. I think for films, absolutely that's easy to enforce. Like you say, AI should be credited the same way you credit your actors and your writers and your
right in
artists.
between where it says no animals were harmed in the making of this film, and all the logo just says like, "Thank you, ChatGPT, for writing the script."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
No, yeah. And that's easy to enforce, and I could get behind something like that with the right, specifics, obviously. But yeah, like I definitely think that there needs to be more even education, and like there's certain ones where you can tell, but like I think about some of the ones I've seen, and I'm like, if I showed this to my grandpa, would he be able to tell? Like if I showed him 2 videos side by side, would he be able to tell me which one's AI? And it's not anything against him. It's just that he grew up in a different era, right?
Mhm.
And it's just I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
it's not going to be who's old or young or anything anymore. It's going to be really like you're going to have to study it and
Mhm.
look at it and take everything with a grain of salt because it's unfortunate. And not that you shouldn't be doing that already anyways, but it's heightened, right? And again, it's not tinfoil hat conspiracy. It's just the fact that it's not going to
Yeah.
end the world.
Well,
It's
I mean,
not going to end the world.
you know,
It's a tool, but it's something that you have to use carefully and be cognizant
Yeah.
of.
I remember I've been getting an ad lately where they're interviewing this guy's interviewing Mark Carney, and
Sure.
he's like, "Oh yeah, all Canadians are going to get $3,000, whatever the ad is. I don't pay that much attention to it. I'm like, it's a pretty decent deep fake. I can tell that it is, but like the first couple times I just scrolled past it,
Sure.
I was like, oh, I'm curious what he's saying. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like there was a few seconds or a few whatever where I was like, oh, this is real. But I mean, 10 years ago, if you saw an ad with the prime minister in it, you weren't questioning whether it was AI.
No, you knew that was the prime minister
Yeah.
talking. I even see videos of like Trump and stuff on my feed,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that looks like AI. It's weird too. I hyperanalyze it where I'm like, that looks like AI, but then I'll look it up on a bunch of different sources, and it's 100% real. And I was like,
Real.
why did I think that clip was AI?
Yep. Yep.
Well, maybe it comes down to the individual too who's talking. Where you're like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like anything in politics is going to be like that in journalism and media. It's just like okay, we have to take a step back, breathe, and it's not infringing free speech to have to mandatory say that you used AI.
Absolutely not.
It should just be a requirement. First, it's a common decency. First of all, because it should be illegal to misinform people intentionally, right? I mean, people are stupid, so like people will always like find a way to. Sorry, people aren't stupid. I'm sorry.
People are stupid.
People are stupid, but when I can say one thing in a room of 100 people, 100 highly intelligent people, and everyone will interpret it in a different way, chances are, right? Or to some varying levels of degree. So, not as like a requirement for people who can't discern that, but just as a general requirement in terms of decency so that you're not misleading people. Hey, we used AI to make this. This is the
Yeah.
AI we used.
And I mean, that
Just-
could honestly even be a. This is gonna sound kind of funny, but like, if your YouTubes and TikToks of the world created systems whereby they had AI analyze videos to maybe try and detect AI,
The YouTube
and then-
thing
and
scans every video uploaded to make sure that there's like no swearing or copyright or anything to see if you can be monetized.
and it's pretty good.
It's not always good. It's fairly good, but it would be so easy to implement an AI to do that. Just to say, hey, we detected AI in the
Yeah,
bottom
and it
of the
doesn't even
description.
need to be anything. It just needs to be like a little like information box at the top left that says
AI
AI
is
generated and AI was automatically detected if you believe this is an error, whatever.
Exactly, and I think that's helpful for a large group of people. And it should be, in my opinion, a legal requirement. We shouldn't legalize banning AI or anything like that because no, I can see how it's helpful for people and as a tool. I don't personally really use AI for anything in my life. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, other than like YouTube algorithms and stuff, I don't spend a lot of time using AI
Yeah.
right now. I don't have much use for it.
No.
But I guess AI generated subtitles. I use those, right? So in my video work, sure, but it's like it should just be a requirement.
Well, and you brought up a
It
good
just
point.
makes
Like
it should
with
just be a requirement.
with journalism and stuff. Like I do not envy all the reporters and stuff that like somebody sends me like, oh, look at what Trump said, and they're like, holy crap, this is crazy or whatever, and then they get digging it. Oh, it's AI. But like
Right.
that like I said, 10 years ago, that wasn't. You might dig to find out more context or verify, but you weren't digging to see if it was fake.
And I would argue with that point that you just made, it is actually the single worst thing for productivity ever. AI is invented as this thing that like, oh, it's going to be great for productivity because it's going to streamline all these things. But now we're spending so much time analyzing AI content
Yes.
that it is taking us away from our actual day-to-day stuff
and
that
like-
actually matters because we're trying to figure out if it's real,
Yeah.
which is the biggest
Right.
detriment to productivity in my opinion.
Well, and I mean, like, in certain things it is, like when you mentioned video subtitles, doing AI video subtitles is a lot faster.
It's perfect.
But like, let's say I'm in university or high school and I go to ChatGPT and say, write me an essay on insert book title here or whatever. I can't just turn that in. I have to go through and read it to make sure.
Mom's a teacher,
Yeah.
and she's seen some of that.
But the
She's
thing
seen
is,
some of that, like with the
if you-
prompt still in.
if you're going to if you're going to do it properly,
Yes.
you're gonna go through and you're gonna have to change it. I mean, like when you're using it for like programming stuff, like I've used it a little bit for programming stuff.
Sure.
I still go through and change a lot of the stuff to match the rest of my program or my personal kind of
Redefine
system.
the terms
Yeah,
and stuff.
like
yeah.
my variable names and stuff like that. All the different things, right? Like the structure is still there, but I'm still changing things. But I also have to go through and make sure it still all works. So, like you say, we're spending so much time checking it that it's
Exactly. It's like okay, it's great for productivity here, here, and here, but if I'm spending 10 minutes trying to figure out if what Donald Trump said last night was real or AI, well, I'm taking away time from when I could actually like take it necessarily at face value. Again, you should always do your research. You should always do your digging, regardless of AI 10
but
years
now
ago.
you have to do both.
But now you have to do both. Exactly, and that's a very good point. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, it's taken away from there. And I just think it should be a legal requirement that you have to specify AI use to the best of your ability or knowledge.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Even if you used AI to color grade it, it
Yeah.
should be a requirement. Just because there's a lot of misinformation going around in the world, like, oh, this is going to be a doomsday device, and this is the end of the world. It's not going to be. I mean, it might have a factor
You
in it,
never
right?
know.
But there's enough hoopla around it that it should just be a requirement to ease people's consciousness. I don't lay awake at night being like, oh God, the AI is going to be taking over me. I don't. I'd rather spend my time focusing on positive things that are actually going to benefit me.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that there's such a large group of people who are genuinely scared, and they should be scared of some things, right? It just makes sense. But again, to ease a little bit of tension, if it was required that you had to specify AI use, you know how much what a weight off of the shoulders that would be? Use the AI to tell you you're using AI.
Yep.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't want to go into it too much.
Yep.
We went into it far enough. It's a large discussion.
We've been at this for about an hour now, so we should probably wrap this
Wrap
up
it up.
pretty soon.
Yeah, okay.
Couple more things. I like
Oh, yeah.
going back to the movie.
Yes.
I really like the way they create like a mood, sort of. I just find like the set design, the coloring, costumes. There's just a mood. Like even when they're in the Matrix, there's a mood, you know?
Sure. And well, most of it was shot in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
And it has like the American urban feel. But yeah, and fun fact, that helicopter scene, that like when they jump through it, they actually were flying in restricted Sydney airspace, and they almost got the whole film canceled as a result. Yep. So that happened. But yeah, it was shot in Sydney, Australia. Never would have thought of that, eh?
Nope.
Looks like New York.
Yeah.
Is it New York? Is that what it's?
They never specify.
I think it's New York.
It's probably New York or
It's probably New York.
Manhattan or well, that's part of Boston or maybe something. I don't know. I don't know American
Whoa.
cities very well.
Okay. Well, we're gonna let that sit for a second. But what was your next point?
Oh, I remember now. Stunts
Sure.
and the fight scenes. I really like the way that they kind of slowly progress from being like slightly enhanced to like full on wire stunts enhanced as he slowly learns. I
Yeah,
like
to
it.
all of a sudden it's just like a CGI vomit of him like and I don't mean that as like it looks bad. I just mean it as like the whole world like melts around him as he absorbs it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I like it. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
The CGI vomit doesn't sound good, I guess, when you say it, but I enjoy it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the points I had for this movie.
Yeah, I think. You know, Keanu Reeves actually underwent like neck surgery and spinal surgery like 2 months before filming.
Really?
Yeah, because he was losing his ability to walk because of like some sort of shit that happened.
Hmm.
Like, this is
That's
real.
powerful shit.
And he went to the surgery, and during recovery, he kept asking to train, and they didn't want him to train because they wanted him to rest, but he kept asking to train, and that's why he hardly ever kicks, is because they focused on light punches and stuff like that for his training. Yeah.
Hmm.
In this movie, that's why he hardly ever kicks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rate it, scratch it, and get out.
Rate it, scratch it, and get out.
8.
I agree. 8. It is a perfect rating for The Matrix.
Okay.
It's a good, solid movie. It's a very good, solid movie.
Yep.
Actually, do I go 8.5? No, I'm fine with 8. I'm fine with 8. It is a very good movie that you can't argue that it's a huge part of pop culture history.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay.
You want to scratch it?
I forgot to grab keys. Hold on.
My keys are on the table over there. Oh, he wants to use his keys, Mr. Fancy Pants. We have to scratch off 2. Indiana Jones and The Matrix.
Do Indiana Jones first.
I feel like a sad friend watching his buddy open all of his birthday gifts. Pardon me. What is that? Oh, it's the hat and
The
whip.
Hat and the Whip for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And The Matrix.
You were right. It's the pills.
Pillsbury. What are the lines on the pills? Oh,
It's
the
like City Skyline, yeah.
Cool. Let's show the camera. We got the Matrix over here. And then over here, we have Indiana Jones. Yeah. That's our top 100 movie posters as we review them. What is that now? Like 13, 14 for us?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Close.
Cool. That is awesome. Thank you for watching another live episode of The Viewing Room. I don't know where he left. Oh, I'm doing the outro. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching the live episode of The Viewing Room as we did Matrix today. It was a great time, and I think we had lots to talk about. Let us know in the comments how you felt about it. This episode will be published and put on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and wherever you get your shows. Speaking of your show, we will be live today at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye.